This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll be starting our next topic, that is SAP navigation. So navigation in SAP. Okay. So the topics that we are going to cover, they are, we will see what is SAP GUI icon. Okay. How to log into SAP. So basic login methodology, login process. SAP easy access screen for all modules. How the initial SAP screen looks like, which is called SAP easy access screen. We will see that. Menu path for transaction. To execute the transactions, how to use the menu path, we will cover that. SAP screen structure, how the SAP screen structure looks like. Okay. Then favorite transaction, how to add the transactions as favorites. Then different types of fields. Okay, we will see. Then how to work with multiple sessions. Okay, how to work with multiple sessions. Then we will understand what is F1 field help and F4 search. We will see this. And finally, how to log off from the system. So these are the topics we will be covering in the SAP navigation. Okay. So first we'll start with the logging onto a SAP system. Okay. So here to log into the SAP system, first you should have the SAP logon pad on your system. So you should download and install onto your system. So this is called SAP logon pad. Okay. So once you have this onto your system, you need to double click. You need to double click. The moment you double click, you will get this one. You will get this one. Okay. And here you have to add your server details, and you have to select the server which you want to log in. You need to select, and then you have to click on this log on button. So once you click on the log on button, you will get this screen where it will ask you to enter your user ID and password. So you will be provided with a user ID and password that you need to enter. Okay, so this is the basic login procedure. So you have a logon pad, double click on that, it will open this session. You have to select your server and you have to click on this logon button, and it will open this screen where you need to enter the your user ID and password, your credentials basically. Okay, so now let me show you this in the system. Okay, so if you see here on my system, the logon pad is already there, it is already installed. Okay, just double click. Okay, you will get this one. So I will be logging into a S4 HANA system. So select the server, okay, which you want to log in, select it, just click on the button log on, or even you can double click also. Either you can just double click simply, it will take you to the login screen, or another method is just select the server you want to log in, and here you see there is a log on button. Click on that log. Ultimately, it will take you to the login screen. Okay, so here you need to enter your user ID and password. Okay, so I will enter my user ID. This is my user ID, and I will enter the password. Okay, and once you enter that, just click on this button, enter. Now you will get the initial screen. Okay, so the moment you log in, you will get your initial screen. Okay, so this initial screen is called as SAP easy access screen, nothing but initial screen. Okay, the moment you log in, you will get your initial screen. Okay, so this is the one I want, the initial screen is called SAP easy access screen. Okay, okay, so now we will talk about navigating in the SAP system, how to navigate in this SAP system. Okay, so you have several options for navigating in an SAP system. Okay, enter the transaction codes in the command field, one option. Choose items from menus in the menu bar. Okay, choose items from the favorite list or from the role-based user menus. Okay, so you have three options. I'll show you one by one. First is you can enter the transaction code in the command field. Okay, what is this transaction code? I will explain in a minute. Okay, so what you can do is here, this is the one. These are the methods. Either you can enter the transaction in the command field. There is a command field here at the top, which is called command field. Here you can enter your transaction code. That is one method. Okay, another method is you can go through the entire menu path, and you can select the transaction code. This is method 2. Okay, another one is you can go through this menu, top menu. I will show you later. Okay, so now let's say I want to create a production order. Let's say, okay. So what you can do, you can first go through the menu path. I will show you this. So you need to open the folder logistics. Okay, open the folder production. Okay, scroll down. Now here you have shop floor control. Open this. Okay, order. Open this. Create. Open this folder CO01. So you can go through the entire menu path. Now double click. It will take you to the transaction. Okay, it will take you to the transaction. This is one method. So we are following the entire menu path. Entire menu path. This is one method. Okay. Another method is, suppose let's say you know this transaction code. Okay. What you can do, once you get the initial screen, instead of going through the entire menu path, you can simply type the T code on the command field. You see, this is the command field. You just type it there, CO01. Type it and just click on the button enter. It will take you to the that particular transaction. So you can follow anyone. Another one is you can add the transaction as a favorites. I will show you how to add to the favorites folder in a minute. We will discuss that later. Okay, so that is how you will navigate in the SAP system. So now we will talk about transactions. What are transactions? Basically, transactions are application programs that execute business processes in the SAP system. So to execute any function, any business function, we will be using the transactions in the SAP system. They are called transactions. So these transactions basically execute the business processes. Every transaction or function in the system has a transaction code. So every transaction will be attached with a code, transaction code. So if you see, I have a transaction, create production order. Okay, it will have a T code attached to it. T code is CO0. Suppose, let's say I want to create an inspection lot. Okay, create inspection lot. Inspection lot. It will have a code called QA0. QA01. Okay, so every transaction will have a T code attached to it. This is the transaction, and this is its corresponding T code. Okay, suppose let's say I want to create bomb. Okay, so create bomb. The T code is CS0. CS0. So this T code directly you can enter here. That's what I explained. You can enter here. Suppose if I enter QA01, okay, enter. It says create inspection lot manually. It is taking you to the transaction. Okay, so every transaction will have a T code attached to it. Every transaction or function in the system has a transaction code. Okay, you can enter the transaction code in the command field to initiate the transaction. That's what I just showed you. Okay, this is probably one of the most direct ways to initiate a transaction. So it's a simple way to initiate a transaction. Enter the transaction in the command field. This one, directly enter your transaction code in the command. Or if you don't remember the transaction code, you need to go through this entire menu. Okay, so now we will talk about SAP screen structure, how the SAP screen looks like. Okay, so here normally in a typical SAP screen looks like this. Okay, suppose I will show you. Let me go inside a transaction. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, I'll take a material. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so let me take this one. Okay, I will go to create production order. Okay, CO01. Okay, enter the material. We will discuss this in our regular classes. Okay, just I am showing you how the screen looks like. So enter the material, plant, and order type. Now the moment I click on continue, so typical screen structure looks like this. Okay, first one we discussed command field. The first one is the command field. We already discussed. This is called command field. Top one. Okay. Now there will be tab pages. Okay, there will be tab pages. This one, command field. Okay, so what is command field? You can start applications directly by entering the transaction code in the command field that I already showed you. Okay, if you want, I can show you again. Okay, so let me go back. Let me go back. Okay, I'm entering the T code again in the command field CO01. Okay, now enter the material. I'll go inside. So next one, tab page. What is tab page? A tab page comprises of several screen areas organized as tabs for clarity and ease of access. Ease of access. So if you see here, this is called tab page. This general here, it is a tab. Okay, so let me enter the quantity. This general is a tab. This assignment is a tab. Okay, this assignment is a tab. This goods receipt, it is called as a tab. So these are called tabs. General, assignment, good receipt, control, all these are called as tabs. Okay, we are here. It is called tab page basically, tab page. Now under this tab page, you will have subscripts. So if you see here, you have tabs. These are called tabs. Okay, and in the tab, you will have a subscreen. You will have a subscreen. So this reference object is a subscreen here. And this subscreen normally will contain the fields. So subscreen will contain the fields. So here if you see this general, if I go to general, the general is the tab. Under this we have three subscreens here. Okay, let me take this. I'll show you by taking the screenshot. Okay, so if you see here, general is a tab, quantities is a subscreen. Okay, dates and time is a subscreen. Here quantities is a subscreen, dates and times is a subscreen, and scheduling is another subscreen. Okay, now in the subscreen you will have the fields. Okay, so that's how the normally typical SAP screen structure looks like. Okay, so now input fields are used to enter text or select a value from a list. So input field is the field where you enter your information, data. So suppose if you see here, this total quantity is an input field. This total quantity is input field where I entered the value 100. These are called input fields. Scrap portion, this is an input field. These are all input fields. Start, end, type, scheduling type, all these are called as fields where you enter your information, data. Okay, so that is the input fields. Now we have checkboxes and radio buttons. I will come to these checkboxes and radio buttons in a minute. Okay, so now we discussed tabs and subscreens and fields. Okay, so now let's discuss about checkboxes and radio buttons. So basically what happens is, whenever you are navigating, the moment you go to a field, the field color will get changed to yellow. Okay, the moment you go to a field, the field color will get changed to yellow color. Okay, a yellow highlighted box is the active field where your cursor currently lies. Okay, so let me show you. Suppose here, see, now I am in the total quantity. The moment I put the cursor in the total quantity, it color changes to yellow. You see, now the moment I put the cursor on the scrap portion, see its color getting changed to yellow. So that means you are currently in this field. That's right. Okay. Next one, drop down field. For some fields, you will have a drop down. Okay. Suppose if you see here, scheduling field is there. Okay, so here you see there is a drop down. The moment you click on the drop down, you will get all the options. From there you need to select. From there you need to select. Okay, so that's what. Now the next one, required field. Required field means mandatory field. If you don't enter the information, system will not allow you to go further. So every field, the required field will have this indicator. This indicator. Required fields contain a box with check mark icon and must be completed to finish the transaction. So mandatory field. So means here if you see, suppose if I don't enter any information here, total quantity, if I try to go to assignment, so what's happening? What's happening? System is saying fill out all required entry fields. That means you have to enter here. This is a mandatory field. Whereas scrap portion is an optional field. Suppose if I enter the value here, but even if I don't enter any value in the scrap portion, system is allowing me to go to next tab, assignment. See, that means the scrap portion is an optional field, not a mandatory field. But this one, total quantity, is a mandatory field. Suppose if I delete the information, if I try to go to assignment, you see it is giving you that symbol. That means it's a mandatory field. By looking at this field, that indicator, you have to conclude that it's a mandatory field. Mandatory field means you have to enter the information. Otherwise, system will not allow you to proceed further. Okay, so that is it. Next, we will talk about match code. Match code means normally for some fields, you will have this match code button at the right side. Right side means match code is a button to the right of a selected field where defined lists or search options are available. So basically, once you click on this match code button, it will give you the allowed values for that particular field. Okay, suppose if you see here, let me enter the one here. Okay, I'll go to some other transaction actually. Okay, I'll go to MM01. Okay, here let me select the industry sector, material type. Okay, just I will show you how the match code button looks like. Okay, I'll select basic data 1 and 2, click on continue. Okay, suppose now if you see here, for the base unit of measure, you see the moment I put the cursor on the field, you see there is a button, match code button. So if you click on that match code button, it gives you allowed values for that particular field. So from this only you have to enter. If you enter a value which is not there in this list, system will throw error. Suppose if I scroll down, if I select each, it's okay. It's okay. System is allowing to continue. But suppose if I enter a value which is not there in this list, suppose let's say if I go to yes, if I go to yes, okay, only yes, S by M and SPL allowed. Suppose if I enter SAB, which is not there in that list, if I enter, see it is throwing error. Unit SAV is not created in language E. That means this SAV is not there in this list, allowed values list. Okay, so for some fields, the moment you get this match code button, you need to click on that and you have to select the value. And for some fields, it will not be there. Okay, suppose if I enter, again if I go, if you see for gross weight, if I put the cursor on the field, does it having any match code? No. Means it is a free text entry. It is a free text entry field. Suppose here also, of course this is having suppose here if you see size and damage, it's a free text entry field. You can enter whatever you want. Let's say I can enter 712. See, it is taking. So some fields will have match code button where you have to select the value from that list. Some fields are free text entry field. They don't have that match code values. Okay, so that is a match code. And you have the multiple selection button. This I will show you when we go to reports. Okay, now the most important thing is checkboxes and radio button. So when you are working on SAP, for some fields on the screen, you will see sometimes checkboxes and sometimes radio button. Checkboxes delineate data output by defining what data types are displayed. Check all the checkboxes you need to retrieve the desired data. So for checkboxes, system will allow you to select more than one option. Whereas radio button, you can select only one option, but allow only a single selection. Okay, so now let me show you. Suppose I will go to another transaction. Okay, so let me go to MB51. Okay, just give me 1 minute. So if you see here in the transaction, suppose if you see here, you have here two radio buttons: hierarchy list, flat list. Okay, suppose system auto by default selected hierarchy list. Suppose if I try to go to flat list, what's happening? System automatically deselecting hierarchy list. So in case of radio button, you can select only one, not both. Whereas if you see here, there are checkboxes. In case of checkboxes, you can select more than one. You see, database is already selected. You can select short documents and you can select reread short documents in. So the point to be noted here is, in case of radio button, you can select only one, any one. Okay. Whereas in the checkboxes, in case of checkboxes, you can select more than. That is the difference between the radio buttons and checkboxes. Okay. That is the okay. Checkboxes are used with multiple selection fields. That's what I just explained. Whereas radio buttons are used with single selection fields. You can select only one option. That's what I just showed. Okay. So now we will move on. We will discuss about favorites menu. Okay. So normally in the real time, the users will be executing few transactions. Okay, according to their role. All transactions, it's not possible to enter. So whatever the transactions they enter, they execute frequently on a daily basis. Those things can be added as favorites. Here, if you see here, there is a favorites folder. So when you log in, always by default, you can see a favorite folder. Okay, in this favorite folder, you can add the transactions which you execute frequently to save the time. Instead of every time entering the transaction code on the command field or going through this menu path, instead of doing that, you can add them as favorites. So next time when you log in, those will be available for you to execute directly. Okay, so now let me show you this. How to add a favorite transaction. Okay, so how to add the transaction into a favorite is, on the top you see there is an option favorites. Click on that. Here, insert transaction. Click on that. You will get this. Okay, suppose let's say I want to create a production order. T code CO01. Enter that T code. Just click on the button. Continue. See, the transaction got added here in the favorites. Even you can create a folder. Inside the folder, you can add the transaction. Suppose I will create a folder. Favorites. Insert folder. Okay, now let's say PP. Okay, continue. So now you see there is a folder. Inside the folder, you can add transactions. Suppose let's say, now put the cursor on the folder, click on again favorites, insert transaction, let's say CS01. Continue. See, now the transaction is within that folder. I will create one more folder, favorites, insert folder, QM. QM. Continue. See, there is a QM folder. There is a QM folder. Now in this folder, you can add a transaction. Favorites, insert transaction, QA01. See, so now this transaction is in this folder. So you can create folders or you can directly assign the transaction. So when I log in the next time, I will add one more transaction. Okay, let me add bomb CS01. I added one more. So next time when you log in, these will be available. Okay, so I'll just log off from the system once. I'll just show you. Okay, I will log in again. Okay, I'm logging in again. See, after the login, you see now the transactions are showing in favorites. Now, no need to enter the transaction code here. No need to go through this entire menu path. Just simply double click. See, it will save your time. So normally what users do in the real time is the transactions they execute frequently on a day-to-day basis. Those transactions they will add as favorites. Okay, it is basically just to save the time. Okay, so that is the favorites. Okay, now next one is role-based menu. Okay, so this normally happens in the real time. Normally when we log in here, we are getting access to the all transaction codes, but in real time sometimes according to the role of the user, okay, they will give access to only to particular transactions. So that will show on the screen the moment you log in. Okay, so if you see here, when I log in our systems, we are getting everything here. We are getting everything here. But if the particular settings are made and given the access, the moment the user logs in, here his role-based menu will come. Normally in the real time, it will happen. This is a training system, so we have access to everything. All the transaction goods we are getting here. But normally in the real time, you will get like this. You will get like this user menu for that particular user. So he will be given access to only few transactions according to his role. Suppose let's say you are working in a purchasing department. You will be given transactions which are related to purchasing activity. Let's say you are working in a planning department. Then you are given access to the transactions which are related to planning function. So according to the role, they will give the access. Okay. Now the next one is status bar. We will discuss about status bar. So when you are working on SAP, once you execute a transaction, normally at the bottom left side, you will be getting some system messages. This I will show you in a minute. Okay. And also on the right side at the bottom, you can see the system information. System information. Okay. Right side, left side, you will get system messages. Right side, you will get the system information. Okay. So here, suppose if I go to CO01 again. Okay. Now you see at the bottom on the right side, you see here. If you click on this triangle box, you see you are getting what is a system you logged in, what is a client, your user ID. This is a user ID with which I logged in, and this is a transaction I'm currently performing CO01, and this is the program. So you can see that information here. Now here currently user ID is showing. Suppose let's say I want to see the transaction code, then select transaction CO0. Okay. Suppose if I go to another transaction QA01, if I go to the transaction, here you see now it is showing QA01 transaction. So which one you want to see here, you can decide whether your user ID or system or program, which one you want to see, you can decide. And if you don't want to see this information at all, you see here this is another triangle button. You just click on that. It will hide. Now it will be hiding. Now if you want to open this again, just click on the button. It will show. So this is the system information at the bottom right side. Okay. Now system messages we will discuss in a minute. Okay. What are the types of messages we have? What are their colors? We will discuss it. Okay. Now the next one is how to use the transaction codes. So here, while working on SAP, you have different options. So on the command field, if you enter /n, it cancels the current transaction. Okay, suppose if you see here, suppose I'll go to the what do you call CS01. Okay, I'll go to this transaction. I'll enter a material plant. Okay, bomb usage. That's okay. Enter here. I'm here. Now I want to come out of this screen. Okay, so normally what people will do is they'll first click on this button back. Do you want to save the bomb first? No. Again, you are into this. Again, you have to click on back. So we almost clicked it three times to come to the initial screen. But instead of that, what you can do, let me go to CS01, again enter. Now I am here. Now I want to go to the initial screen directly. So what you can do, on the command field, just type /n. That's all. Immediately it will take you to the initial screen. See, so it will save your time basically. That is the use of /n. Okay. Now next one, /n followed by the next transaction. Okay, so here /n followed by the transaction code initiates the specified transaction directly from another transaction. That means here, suppose I am here, CO01. I am in CO01. Okay, let me show you this. Now I want to come out of this and I want to go to another transaction. So normally what people will do, as I said, as I explained, normally what people will do, they will start clicking on this back button. It will ask this one, do you want to save the data? No. Again, they'll click on back. Then I want to go to QA0. So how many clicks I have to do? But instead of that, what you can do is, again, let me go to CO01. Okay. Now I am here. So what I want to do is, I want to close this transaction. Immediately I want to open that QA01. So what you can do, on the command field, type /n, the transaction which you want to open, QA01. Okay, /n followed by the new transaction code. Now you see, enter. See, the previous transaction got closed and the QA01 got opened directly. So that is the use of /n followed by the transaction code. Next, /o. It displays an overview of the session. So here, suppose I am in this transaction. I want to see what is this transaction and all. Just type command field /o, enter. See, it will give you the overview of that session. Create inspection lot, what you are doing currently. Okay, that is the overview of the session. Next one, /o followed by the transaction code. Okay, that means, suppose let's say I am in this CO01. I want to open one more transaction, one more session. Okay, so here you see there is a button here. So normally people, what they will do is they will first click on this create new session. It will open one more session. It will open one more session. Now here you enter QA01. Okay, so now we have to do 2 clicks basically. We have to open one more session, and in that new session we enter the transaction code. But instead of that, what you can do, I'll come out of this second session. Now I'm in this session. From the same session, you can directly launch another transaction in another session. So what you have to do, /o followed by the transaction code you want to open, QA01. Click on continue. See, automatically it opened the new transaction in another session. That is what /o followed by the transaction initiates the specified transaction in a new session. Okay, so that you can do. Now the remaining 3 we will discuss at the end. When we go to log off, that time we will discuss these 3, the last 3, /n end, /n ex, /i. Okay, now we will talk about types of messages. Okay, so in the SAP system, when you are working on SAP, you will be getting 3 types of messages. So these are the ones. One is error message. It comes with red color. Error message comes with red color. Okay, then there will be an information message. It comes with green color. And next one is warning message. It comes with yellow color. So when you get a red color error message, indicates a problem that must be corrected before continuing. That means once you get error message, system will not allow you to continue further. You have to rectify that problem. If you don't rectify, you cannot continue further. So error has to be resolved, rectified. So now let me show you this. Suppose I'll go and create a material mm01. Okay, I'm creating the material. Okay, suppose I selected a industry sector here. Okay, now the moment I click on continue, what's happening? What's happening? Vinita, are you there? Can you please unmute yourself and speak? What is a message you are getting at the bottom?
Enter a mutual type.
Enter a material type. What is
Yes,
the color? What is the color of the message?
red color.
Red color. So that means it's an error message. So now it's error message. Now, if I want to continue, if I try to enter again, see, you are getting the same message. Now, as the error message is there, until you solve that problem, system will not allow you to continue further. How many times you enter, you will be keep on getting that message. So you have to resolve that. What it is saying, enter a material type. So you have to enter a material type. So select the material type. Let's say fund. Now I enter the material type. Now it will allow you to continue. See? So that means if error message comes, you need to resolve it. You need to rectify it. So that is an error message. Okay. Now I'll come to information message in a minute. First, let's discuss warning message. So warning message comes with yellow color. It indicates there may be a problem with the data you have entered. You may have to correct the problem before continuing. That means when you get a warning message, if you rectify the problem, it's okay. But even though you don't rectify, still system will allow you to continue. Okay, it's like a if you don't resolve that problem, still you can continue. System will still allow you to continue further. Okay, so that is warning message. So system says that there is some problem, but even though you don't rectify, still it will allow you to continue. Let me show you warning. Okay, so how it comes is, okay. Okay, okay. So suppose I am here. Okay, now if I try to go to MRP3 view, what message you are getting at the bottom? In-house production time is 0 for material produced in-house. What is the color of the message? Yellow. That means system is saying you have not entered anything in this field. But even though I don't enter anything, still I can continue further. So what you need to do, the moment you get this, just simply enter on your keyboard. Enter on your keyboard. It will allow you to continue. If you rectify the problem, it's okay. If you rectify the problem, it's okay. But even though you don't rectify, still system will allow you to continue. Okay, suppose here again I'll go to MRP1. I'll show you again. Again I will go to MRP1. If I go to MRP2 again, see, the moment I want to go to MRP3, you are getting that. Now if I enter value, it's okay. Even though if I don't enter also, it will allow. Okay, so previously I have not entered anything, it was allowing. Now if I enter value, it's okay. It's optional. So that is the warning message. So just you need to enter one more time. That's all. Now the next one is information message. Information message means it comes with green color. No action is required. So system just giving you some information. Okay, so let me show you how the information message comes. Okay, suppose let me save this. The moment I save this, when I click on save button, at the bottom you will get a message. Save. What is the message? Material, some material 4174 created. So what is the color of the message? It is green. So system is just giving you some information. Okay, so these are the three types of messages you will be getting while working on SAP. Error message with red color, information message with green color, warning message with yellow color. Okay, now we will talk about multiple logons and multiple sessions. Okay, if the same user logs on more than once, then for each subsequent logon, the system displays a warning message that offers the user following three options. Okay, continue with this logon and any other logons of this user in the system. Okay, next one, continue with this logon without ending any other logons in the system. This is flagged. Next one, terminate this logon. So if you log in with the same user ID more than one, then you will be getting these three options. Okay, so let me show you this. Suppose I logged into the system. I already logged in, okay, with this user ID. With this user ID. If I try to log in again, you see, suppose I go, I'm trying to log in again with the same user ID. Okay. Now you see, the moment I click on enter, what message you are getting? Of course, here they configured it as only 2. Normally, sometimes you will get 3. You see, continue with this logon and any other logons in the system. Of course, the middle one is disabled. Normally, they will not allow. Okay, or terminate this log. So if you select the first radio button, system will log into this one and the previous login will get ended. See, you see, the previous one got ended. You got this message. Okay, so that is the multiple logins. Okay, now we will talk about multiple sessions. So while working on SAP, you can work on more than one session. Already you are in one session, you can open multiple sessions. Okay, so to open multiple sessions, you can do two things. Either go to system, click on this option, new GUI window, or there is a button called new session. You can click on that. You can do any one, either this one or this one. Ultimately, they will open more than one extra session. Okay, so now let me show you this. So I am in this, let's say I'll go to CO01. Okay, I am in this session. In another session, I want to do some another activity. So what you can do, go to system, here, new GUI window. It will open one more session. You see, here I can execute one report, QA32. Inspection lot selection. I can execute this report. So I have now two sessions, 1, 2. Now let's say I want to open one more session. Instead of going to the system new GUI window, you can click on this one also. Creates new session. Click on that button. It will open one more session. See, now 3 are opened. 1, 2, 3. You can open one more. 4. Now we are with 4 sessions. You can open one more. See, now 5 sessions are opened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll open one more. Now 6 are opened. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are opened. So now if I try to open one more, you see, you will get a message. Maximum number of GUI sessions reached. So more than 6, normally it will not. More than 6, it will not. Okay, but again, this can be customized by basis team. They can limit it to 4 or they can limit it to 3. They can do that. But normally, standard SAP normally comes with 6 sessions, maximum 6 sessions at a time. 6 sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now, but let me close all the sessions. So now again we are back with one session. Okay. So that is a multiple sessions. Okay. Using multiple sessions allows you to open several windows at the same time on the same computer. That's what I showed you. Okay. The user can create a new session at any time and can create several sessions, each independent of the others. That's what I showed you. Your system administrator may limit the number of sessions that user can create. So, but whether to have maximum 6 or maximum 4 or 3, that can be configured by your system administrator. That means the basis team will take care of this. Okay. So now we will talk about using help and personalizing user interface. Okay. So now you have two options on for every field. F1 field help, F4 field help. So what you can do is F1 field help. What it does is, suppose let's say you have a field. I want to see the information about that field, like what is that field, why it is used. If you want to know the information about that field, what you need to do is put the cursor on the field and press F1 on your keyboard. Then this window will come where you will get some information about that field. So let me show you this. Okay, suppose let me go to material master again. Okay, so let me select industry sector, material type. Okay, I'll select views. I'll select only basic data one as of now. We will discuss this in our next class, master data classes. Don't worry, click on continue. Now here, suppose here you have a field called material group. I want to know what is this material, what is this field, why it is used. Okay, so if you want to see that information, put the cursor on the field, type F1 on your keyboard. I typed F1. See, there is a pop-up box. So it is saying the field, this is the field material group, its definition, what is this field basically, why it is used. You will get all that information. All that information. Okay, if you want to know information about that particular field, just put the cursor on the field and type F1. You will get this pop-up box where you will find some information, useful information. So that is the F1. F1. Okay. Now the next one, F4. F4 will give you the allowed values for that field. Allowed values. Suppose let's say you have a field. You have a field. Okay. So as I previously explained, you can click on the match code button. It will give you the allowed list. Or another option is, instead of clicking on this match code button, what you can do, simply type enter F4 on your keyboard. Enter F4 on your keyboard, then it will give you the same allowed values. Same allowed values. So here, suppose if you see here, your material group is here. One option is you click on the match code button. It will show you this. Or put the cursor there, just type F4 on your keyboard. So it will give you the allowed values. So that is the importance of F1 and F4. F1 is used to find help on fields, menus, functions, and messages. Whereas F4 is used to find information on the possible values that can be entered in the field. That's it. Okay, so that is F1 and F4. F1 and F4. Okay, so now we will talk about menu, system, and help. Okay, so when you are working on transactions, on any screen, you will find these two options, system and help. You will find this on any transaction. Both these menus are available on every screen and always offer exactly the same options. Suppose if you see any transaction, so say I'm in this MM01, you have the system and help. System and help. Help. So let me come out of this once. Okay, let me log out first. Just give me 1 minute. Let me log in again. Okay, suppose if I go to CO01, okay, if I go inside, just one. Here you have system and help. Suppose if I open one more transaction, one more session, and if I go to QA01, okay, you see other options are different. You see here other options are different, but system and help will be there on any transaction. So if you click on system, these will be there, and if you click on help, it will be there. So these two will be available on any transaction. These other options can change based on the transaction you are using, but this will be there available all the time on any screen. That's what here you see. That's what here. Okay, here you see different options, order, functions, edit, different, but the system and help will be there on any screen. That's what here are available on every screen and always offer exactly the same options. Okay, now we will talk about user specific personalization. Okay, that means you can have certain settings, okay, according to your user ID. Suppose, let's say, now here, let's say your favorites is showing at the top, favorite folder. Now let's say I want this favorites folder at the bottom here. Then you can change that. Okay. So those kind of things can be done with this extras and settings. Okay, I'll show you that. Suppose, let me go back. Here. Now the favorites folder at the top. Now I want to move this to the bottom. Okay, so what you can do? Extras, go to settings. Here you see there is option settings. Click on that. You will get this color. You will get this pop-up box. So here, display favorites at the end of the list. You see here, there is a checkbox. So the moment I select this, observe carefully, click on continue. What happened? Favorites folder move to the bottom. Okay, like this you can do. Suppose now here, if you see, it is showing only the transaction, create production order. It is not showing the T code. I want, along with the transaction, I want to see the T code also. Then what you can do? Extras, settings, display technical name. Now you see the difference. See, now along with the transaction, it is showing its corresponding T code. So like this, you can do certain settings. And this is applicable only to particular user ID. This will be applicable to my user ID only, not for others. Okay. Anyhow, let us go to the original settings. I deselect this. I deselected this. Now again, favorites folder, move to the top. Okay. See, now it is moved to the top. So like this, you can do changes in the settings. And also there is some option settings where you can change the display of this one. Okay, that I will show you later on. You can change increase the font size or those kind of things you can do. This I will show you later on. Suppose I'll show you some important one. If I go to MM01 here, if I go to the drop down, suppose here along with this option, it is showing its key. Suppose in these options, if I click on this customize logo layout, if I go to options here, if I go to interaction design, suppose if I go to visualization 1, here you see there is an option show keys within drop down list. Suppose if I deselect this, apply, okay. Now the moment I click on this, what do you observe? It is showing only the text. It is not showing its corresponding key. So sometimes when you are working, it will show only this one. You will not get the key. So to get its corresponding key, what you can do, again, click on this button, options, go to options. In the visualization 1, you see show keys within the drop down list. Now select that checkbox, apply, okay. Now you see it is showing the key also, its corresponding key. So like this, you can change your certain settings. Okay, suppose if I go to options again, current theme is SAP signature theme. The visualization. Suppose if I change it to let's say let me change it to Corbu theme. Okay, apply, okay. Now you need to log off once. So now the moment I log in, you see the theme will get changed. Display theme. Okay, see there is some change in the theme. Suppose now if I log in, look is different. You see, look is different. Okay, look is different. So that changes you can do. Okay, but again I'll go to my view, normal recommended SAP signature theme. Apply, okay. So now I'll log off once and log in again. Now you will be getting back to the original view. Okay, you see now there is a change again in the display. See, now the display is different. Okay, so those kind of settings you can do as per your requirement using this customized local layout. Okay, so whatever you can do. Okay, now the next we'll discuss is SAP Help. So anytime any help you need in the SAP, you can log into their SAP Help portal. There will be a portal provided by SAP. That portal you need to log in. SAP Help portal. SAP Help portal. Okay. So let me show you this. So for that, what you need to do is you open your web browser. You can go to Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, your browser, web browser. Go there. Okay. So now you type here. Let me go to Google. Okay. SAP Help. Okay. So this is the portal, SAP Help portal. Click on that. It will take you to the SAP Help portal. So this is the portal. There, here you can search whatever you want to search regarding SAP. You can do that. This is their SAP Help portal. Okay. So now we'll talk about logging off from the SAP system. How to log off from the SAP system. So normally, once you finish your work, to log off from the system, you have two options. One first option is go to system. Then you click on this log off. When you click on this log off option, you will get this pop-up box. It will ask, unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to log off? You will get this pop-up box. Then you have to click on yes. This is one option. Second option is on the command field, just type /n-ex. But when you do this, you will not get this pop-up box. That is a difference. Okay. So the difference between these two options is option 1 and option 2, this one. So when you do this first option, you will get this pop-up box. When you do this option, you will not get this pop-up box. Okay, so let me show you this. So now let's say I am in CO01. Okay. Okay, enter. Okay, so now I want to log off. So what you can do, go to system, log off. You see, go to system, log off. The moment I click on log off, you see, you are getting this pop-up box. Unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to log off? Yes, log off. Now another one is, let me log in again. Okay, now again, I'll go to some other transaction, QA01. Okay. Okay. So it's okay, not a problem. That error is okay. Now I want to log off. So first option I showed you, but now this time, if I put /n-ex, now that pop-up window will not come. You will get directly logged off from the system. /n-ex, just click on the button, continue. See, automatically logged off. The pop-up box will not come. Okay. So that is how you will log off from the system. You have two options. You have two options. After completing the work, at the end of the day, normally they will log off. Okay. So with this, we have completed SAP navigation. Okay.